Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Saddle Cartel podcast via our YouTube channel. This is something we've tried to convert to, getting away from the streaming podcast off of Spotify and Apple, and we wanted to try to do a YouTube format just so we could have video, so fake folks could put faces to names and such. But we appreciate you tuning in. If you're not watching right now and you watch us in the future, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow this channel and this community as best we can. So any help there would be appreciated. But I want to introduce Drew Ink, Bullpath Outdoors. Drew, I was on a saddle classified page, I don't know, a couple months back, and I seen a Bullpath saddle for sale, and I was like, Bullpath? I've never heard of this.
Hmm.
So I just started researching, and then I found your website, and I was like, huh, it looks like some pretty legit stuff. And I reached out to you and was like, hey, I'd love to get you on the podcast, get you some exposure, let folks know about what you're offering and about your company. And we had some connection issues trying to get linked up for a few weeks, but we finally got it worked out. So, Drew, thanks for joining me tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
So, if you would just give us a little background about who you are, where you come from, and we'll get into Bullpath as we go through that.
Yeah, so I'm Drew. I'm from Central Ohio, and basically, the way I grew up, I didn't really have I don't come from a hunting family or anything at all. So everything that I've learned from hunting has all been self-taught. But growing up, my dad worked in a prison, and all of his buddies, they all hunted. And for some reason, my dad never did, and it still kind of bothers me to this day that he doesn't. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like I said, my dad's buddies, they all hunted, and growing up, I would always go over to his buddy's house with him when they're, drinking beer or having a fire or whatever. Uh, UFC fight nights, football games, whatever. And like I said, all my dad's buddies were hunters, big time hunters, and I would always see on their walls like bucks, nice mounts, and
Yeah.
I would see their people's bows, and that always really intrigued me. So, uh, and they would always talk about it, and they wanted to get me into it a little bit, and I'd have questions here and there, and I'd ask them a bunch of stuff. But so, anyways, when I turned, I think I was either 15. I started like asking my dad, like, "Can you please take me to a hunter safety course?" When I turned 16, and so he did. He brought me to the in class hunter safety course in Marengo, Ohio. And it was like just one class. I think it was 12 hours long, and you had to learn everything within one day, and then at the very end of the day you had to take a quiz or a test, and if you passed the test you got your your hunter safety certification, and then you can go and get your own hunting license. Well, I passed, got my own hunting license, and kind of hit the ground running from there. When
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, like nothing. But my very first year, I went to some public land and I hunted a lot. Had, like I said, no idea what I was doing. I was stuck to one tree stand, and I would sit in the same spot every hunt. And I think right around December, I was just getting frustrated that I could not, kill a deer or anything. And
Yeah.
then finally, I just was like to one of my dad's buddies, I'm like, "Can I please hunt your property?" He's like, "Yeah, why didn't you ask me the first time? Like when hunting season first started." So
No
I'm like,
kidding.
"Oh, yeah." So he has his own stand up, and I remember my first ever deer kill. It was a very very small little doe, and I saw it coming in. It was like December or January. I know it was snowing. It was freezing outside, morning time. I remember seeing this doe just. I saw it walking in, and then it walked off, and I was downwind, but I didn't know that at the time. So I
Sure.
was downwind. The doe started walking off, then all of a sudden it like J hooked right towards my direction, and it got literally within 5 yards of my stand, and I had no idea like what I was doing, like I said, and I shot it. I didn't even aim or anything. Didn't use my pins or nothing. I was so amped up, shot it, and I hit its neck, and it literally dropped and died right there. And it
Spine
was,
shot.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty unethical if you had to ask me, but it's like, very first time, no idea what I was doing. My
Yeah.
bow that I had, it was not set up for me. The arrows, nothing, but I killed it,
You know,
and yeah.
and it's funny. There's probably 1,000 stories just like that. People shooting bows that not adjusted to their draw length, or just whatever the case may be. And
Mhm.
we all have to learn somehow. But I love hearing your description of just how amped up and tore up you was over a little tiny doe.
Yeah.
It's That's the feeling we all chase as hunters, is
Yeah.
just that extreme exhilaration, that adrenaline dump. And
Mhm.
like I've been saying it for several months now, and I want to kind of make it a credo is, don't let what you see others posting be the factor that steals your joy from what you like to harvest. If a doe fires you up, or 100-inch freaking little 8-pointer fires you up, and you get those rushes and those feelings, drop the hammer on it, man. There's
Mhm.
always going to be plenty of deer
Yeah.
for us to hunt. I mean, we have an abundance of deer across this nation.
Mhm.
And it pains me to see folks, the first thing they say when they post a picture of a smaller buck or whatever is, I know it's not the biggest, but I'm like, come on, man. If you enjoyed it and you're going to eat it and it's going to help feed your family, and you went through those emotions that you got to shoot that deer, celebrate that. That's
Yeah.
what it's about. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We don't know. We're not guaranteed next hunting season. So, take advantage of the opportunities that we have, is what I say.
Mhm.
If something gets your rocks off, man, I just say go for it. But cool story, man. I loved
Yeah.
hearing that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And right after that, when I killed it, I called my dad's buddy and was like, "Hey, I just killed a deer," and he's like, "Nuh-uh." So then he came down, he saw the doe, and he congratulated me and everything. And he's like, "All right, you got to gut it now." I'm like, "Gut it?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, you got to take the guts out." I'm like, "Oh man." So he
Uh-oh.
helped me with that, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, trying to cut the esophagus, and he's like, "Okay, now rip it out." And I'm just like, "Oh no."
Oh
But,
yeah.
I got to experience the whole ordeal, and
You take a bite of the heart.
no, I didn't.
Oh,
I
you
didn't.
didn't do
No,
the heart bite.
no, but I did put blood. He made me put blood on my
Blooded you.
face. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
but that was one of the best experiences I've ever had, to be honest.
it's hard to duplicate that too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's how I got started in it, and
Awesome.
I fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. So.
Yeah. So, and being in Central Ohio, you're in mega buck country, so
Hmm.
the opportunities for you to really put something, a banger on the wall, is really tremendous up there. It's Ohio's, man. It's probably one of the best states out there. I'd say Ohio, Illinois, Iowa. They're probably, in Kansas. Them four are just like I don't know if you follow the Seek One guys.
Yeah, I
Do you
know
know what I'm
Sequin.
talking about?
Yep.
Did you see that 212-inch buck he killed in Ohio this week?
I haven't yet. No.
Oh my gosh, dude, that thing was stupid. It was a
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's
Well, those
crazy, man.
guys are those guys are savages. Like those
They are,
guys
dude. I mean,
know
they
how
get
to
after it
hunt.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's figured it out, dude. He's got a system down. He kills some freaking dandies, that's for sure.
Mhm. Yep.
So cool. You started off, at 16 years old, got your first buck. When did kind of the mobile game come into play for you? The mobile hunting scene, saddles or whatever. When did that kind of start for you?
Mhm. So for a couple years after that, like I said, I would always hunt public land because that's all I had. And even
Hmm.
though I did have access to my dad's friend's private land, like as the years gone by, I never really had like the same feeling towards public. Like public land has always been like more adventurous to me, more like thrilling. And for some reason, like the danger aspect, I like feeling, I don't know, like uh just knowing that I'm not the only person out there. and I liked
Yeah.
that feeling. So I like the
Yeah.
adventure. So I would always go out and hunt in public land. But what really bothered me was that I was always limited to one tree stand, and when I set the one tree stand by myself, that was it because I didn't want to move it. You know, it's big, bulky, cumbersome. It sucked setting up,
Yeah.
and yeah. So for years, I was always kind of frustrated. Like, man, there has to be like something else. Like I tried, ground hunting, didn't like it, but one year, I think in 2020 or 2021, my timeline's kind of messed up because a lot you know, has
Yeah.
happened since then. But I went to go out public land to my one tree stand that I had, and it was missing. A thief, somebody stole it. I had my safety line in there. I had the way I did it was I would have like four hawk helium sticks, then my stand, but I would take the bottom two hawk helium sticks off the tree so nobody can just climb up there. And
Sure.
you'd have to, try to bear hug the tree or whatever to get up in there. But it was missing, lost everything. And at the time, I didn't have enough money to get another stand. And yeah, that really upset me.
Mm.
And after that, I was like, man, there just has to be some different way to hunt. So one day I was scrolling through YouTube and I found the public hunting guys, and these guys were using hunting saddles. I'm like, what in the world is this? I'm like, for all these years, this is my answer right here.
Yeah.
And I was so stoked about it, and I just dove straight first into it, like just head first. Went I went nuts all over it. I went out, bought my own hunting kit, my own hunting saddle kit, and I fell in love with it. So that's how I found like the art of mobile hunting. So
Yeah. It's I've got the same exact story. Well, not the same exact, but as far as how I found it, it was in COVID. Everything shut down, not a lot to do. So, and I wasn't a big YouTube guy, but at the time, I would watch it here and there. But I was just watching a bunch of YouTube, and same thing. Came across the hunting public guy, seen him using that saddle. I'm like, what is this?
yeah,
I
yeah,
said, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like you, dude. I freaking dove head first. I mean,
hmm,
just ordered everything. Got a one stick right out of the gate. And
yeah,
I did it like February timeframe, March. I got all the stuff in about that time, and I spent all spring and all summer just making climbs, shooting my bow, rappelling down, retrieving my arrows, climbing back up, and then in the summertime, after I felt comfortable in daylight, started doing it in the dark with a headlamp on, just so I could get used to doing it in the dark. And by the time hunting season got there, dude, I was like, I got this, no problem. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I haven't
yep,
looked back, dude. I've just you know, and again, anybody that's watching this that is a saddle hunter, they'll attest to this, I'm sure. For me being a lock on guy or a climber guy or even a ladder stand for so many years, I never felt safe to stand up and shoot. I never felt balanced. So I would
hmm,
always shoot sitting down, and we all know that you was kind of limited from about the 12 o'clock to about the 7 o'clock position. It was really
yep,
hard to get turned to your weak side to make those weak side shots unless you stood up. And I never felt comfortable to do that, for one thing. Even though I had a safety harness on for the latter part of those years, when I was young, I didn't wear one at all, which was just stupid. But even, without that tension of the safety harness, I never could get my balance. So that was the very first thing I realized about a saddle is that 3 points of contact, the both feet and the tether with that constant tension. I felt so balanced.
yep,
And we all know how safe it is. I mean, you're attached to the tree at all times. I think it would take something really, really silly to fall out of a saddle. I don't know how you would do it, but it would take something tremendously silly to do. So it's so safe, and comfort. So I'm a big guy. I'm really tall, and I got some lower back issues, and that I think this is probably genetics and whatnot. But sitting in the stand, I'm constantly twitching. I'm just trying to find those comfy spots. My back just gets really tight. In a saddle, my back never bothers me. I'm just
yeah,
like, this is freaking awesome.
yeah,
That's just, some of the points that I've loved about it. And I'm sure a lot of people will agree that that's what they've liked about it too, is just the safety, the security, the balance, the comfort. I mean, I love everything about saddle hunting, man. And like you said, it comes in with you and goes out with you. You don't have to worry about nobody stealing your stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
Nobody knows where you're hunting.
Exactly.
Nobody can find your stuff. I mean, there's just so many benefits to it. But
Yeah.
awesome. So you jumped in head first. When did you decide that, hey, I think I can make my own saddle, and when did path come into play for you?
Yeah. So I do want to back it up just a little bit. I've never
Okay,
told
go ahead.
this. I've never told this story to anybody, probably because it doesn't matter. But when I was 16, 17, when I first started, like, I loved hunting right after that, my first ever deer. I started a company called Outside Hybrid. And
Okay.
what it was basically like a blend between, it was like an Instagram page, a blend between hunting and fishing. And that's what I love to do. When I first, I always loved fishing, but I wanted to add hunting in there. So I grew this Instagram page, and being young at the time, I had no idea what I wanted to do with it. I tried selling merchandise, making it into a brand.
Hmm.
I sold within like the first 6 months, maybe two hats, and that was two hats. And I grew this Instagram page uh, to 50,000 followers
Wow,
organically. Yeah, and this was
that's
back when
impressive.
Instagram like didn't have as many restrictions as it does now, and the finicky
Yeah.
algorithm. But I grew this Instagram page. I wanted to start my own hunting business. Didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So, like I said, just being young and naive. And I sold the Instagram page to. You can literally look it up. It's still up. I don't know if I should say the guy's name, but I sold it. He made it into his own personal page, and he's lost like 20,000 followers, but he's out there
Oh
right
man.
now, and he's a
Yeah.
hunter. So I
Wow.
sold it to him, and I was just like, man, I don't know what to do with this. Screw it. So growing up, more like 5 years later or so, I started a landscaping company, and you know, I've been I still run a landscaping business, and I've been doing it for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years or so. And when I found out about saddle hunting was right around the time where I started actually making some decent money from my
Hmm.
landscaping business, and that was the one thing that I spent, a decent amount of money to get into the game.
Oh yeah.
But so when I got my hunting kit, I was so stoked about it. It was American made, everything. And I remember like inspecting it. Well, first off, when I opened up the package and I saw the saddle, I was like, holy crap, I can make this. I'm just that kind of guy that, like, if I set my mind to it, I can do it.
Hmm.
And I was like, holy crap, man, these people, all they do is stitch this stuff and they sell it. I'm like, I could do that. Now, keep in mind, I have no experience in sewing. I've never sewn a day in my life or anything. But the catalyst was when I was inspecting one of the pouches. There was that tag that said "Made in China," and that's what set me off. So I'm like,
Cool.
dude, because I was under the impression that everything was USA made. I'm like, sweet. I just spent a grand with this company. I'm supporting a good cause, and I get to do something that I love, and it's an advantage for me. So let me let me do this. But then I saw that "Made in China" tag, and then that's when I was like,
Just ruined it for you.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going. Screw it. I'm going in. I'm gonna go head first into this, and yeah, that's what I did.
Wow. So the design of your saddle, did you just like take pieces of inspiration from other stuff you was seeing, or did you just come up with your own complete design for your saddle, or how did that come into play?
So it was inspired by a couple things, just like anything else,
Hmm.
But I wanted a saddle that looked different and didn't look like any of the other competitors. I tried to the best of my ability, and that's when I came out with the Bull Threat, the version 1 series. So I started off with that, and man, there was a lot of trial and error, but I got it done really quickly because
Yeah.
when I first started, it was June 1st of last year. June 1st. That's when I had my first ever sewing machine, and I dove head into it. And like I said, I ran a landscaping business at the time, and I still do. But I took a lot of time off that year, and I just put a lot of money towards education about sewing, a lot of money
Mm,
towards materials, and quickly realized the sewing machine that I first had was not going to cut it, even though it said heavy duty right on it. I was thinking, okay, this thing's heavy duty, so let me
yeah,
uh, let me get that thing and put it to work. Well, it didn't work like that. So then I did a ton of research, found another sewing machine, bought that, and then it did exactly what I needed to do, and then that's when everything changed. So
yeah,
yeah.
cool, man. That and, that's just a great story for just an an American.
Mhm.
Here's a guy that wants American made products, finds out that the products he's buying aren't American made, made in China, decides, you know what, I can do this, and you just start grinding, dude. And
Yeah.
that's impressive. I mean, my hat's off to you. Even though you said you had zero experience in sewing or anything like that, you took the initiative to teach yourself and to learn and to start designing and just, what an American story that is.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you've done all that and what you've built
Thanks.
and continue to build. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But it was a grind. I mean, it still is a grind, but
Yeah, I'm sure.
the learning curve of sewing and the different materials and what to do and what not to do is a huge learning curve. At least it was for me. And so I make my own schedule whenever I want. And so when I first got my sewing machine, it was every day for 12 to 16-hour days. There was days where it was every day and it still is every day, but not to that extent. But in
Mhm.
order for me to learn, it was every day nonstop from the moment I wake up, I was sewing to the moment I could not keep my eyes open, I was sewing. And if I was eating, I was reading articles, I was learning on YouTube, I was buying courses, I was talking to, I don't know if you guys have this store, but Joanne Fabrics. You ever
Yeah,
heard of them?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I,
familiar with it.
yeah, I would go there. I would talk to all the seamstresses and everybody about different materials and how to do this, how to do that. And yeah, and it's still like that today, just not 16-hour days from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. But it's still like I'm learning every day. I'm still taking the time to, there's just a lot that goes into it. It's kind of hard to
Yeah.
explain, but
I can't imagine. I've not got a creative bone in my body. I can't draw a stick man on a piece of paper. So
yeah.
my hat's off to you guys. And I've had other designers and company owners on before, and I've always gave them just kudos to the fact that they can think this stuff up and grind it out and make it work and turn it into something that's productive and useful and comfortable. And I don't know how you do it, but I'm glad you do, and I'm glad others like you do.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if this has been the case for you, but other guys I've talked to in the past, it seems like a lot of you, the small business guys in the saddle game that don't have that huge corporate influence. A lot of them guys talk and bounce ideas off each other. Have you had the ability to reach out to other smaller manufacturers and kind of get feedback or bounce ideas off of any guys like that?
Nope. I've tried a couple people.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't I've tried a couple people, but the people that I did reach out, I think they're a little too big. But I don't know. I haven't really talked to anybody about
Yeah,
anybody. Just it's basically just been me. And yeah, I've talked to other companies that are outside of the saddle hunting business. I've
yeah,
talked to I don't want to name any names, but I've talked to some other people that have nothing to do with saddles, and they've given me their input, and I bounce ideas off of them.
yeah.
But as far as other, saddle companies, I haven't
Okay.
had any contact with anybody.
And I was just curious, like I say, I've had a lot of guys, I've found out through talking to them, but hey, I've talked to this guy and he helped me do this, and we talked through this problem, and I just didn't know if you'd had that experience or not. And I hope that one of them or several of them are watching this. They're like, "Hey, man, Drew seems like a pretty solid dude. Let me
Hmm.
reach out to him and put our heads together and see if there's anything I can do to help him." Because I've had the opportunity to get to know several of the manufacturers in the business now through this medium of podcasting and running, helping run the Saddle Cartel page and whatnot. So I hope some of them are watching, and I hope some of them take the initiative to reach out to you and offer some help, where they can help you.
Hmm.
But cool, man. So tell us a little bit about what Bullpath offers. What are your products? What do you got going on right now?
So, basically, like I said, since I've seen that made in China symbol, I don't know if it matters to a lot of people. I don't like it seems like it doesn't matter to a lot of people. I don't know, but for me personally, I personally want my gear to be 100% made in Ohio, which it is, and all the materials that we use for our products are made in America. That's my
Mhm.
biggest thing. I want to be 100% American made through and through. I know there's a lot of people out there that say they are, 100% American made, which they are, like sewn, but the materials that they use, it isn't. I don't say anything, but just for me and my integrity and my own personal goals, I just always wanted to be American made. And when I mean American made, even the materials. So
Yeah,
that's
good
basically
for
what
you.
it is for me. And that has been one very hard thing to accomplish.
I
Very hard.
imagine because
Yeah.
all the things that go into that. I would guess it's hard to source all of that through an American made company.
Yes. It is
And
extremely hard.
it seems like a large hurdle to get over just because so much manufacturing is went overseas and out of the country, and
Yep.
that's just because it's cheaper. And honestly, when it comes to that corporate stuff, it's about the bottom dollar, the bottom line. So,
Yep.
uh, have you been able to actually dig deep into it and source all of your stuff through American made products?
Yes. Yes. But
Oh,
there's I still have hiccups because there is still some certain material that have like been implemented into my products, but then they either have gone out of business, they were out of business, I just didn't know, and I was buying from a
mm,
middleman.
yeah,
So that's been an issue. Another issue is that a lot of manufacturers here in America, they want you to put down like a huge pr- portion of money, and then they make you that material, and it takes
uh,
half a year to a full year, and then you receive the product. So that's been I would like to have this certain material, but I had to put $10,000 down, and it's going to take a year for it to get to me. So it's like
mm,
I don't have that option. So yeah,
sure.
it's been a challenge definitely
I
for
can imagine.
for, for materials. So
Gosh, yeah, it just that's just the way the world's gotten to, or at least our country's gotten to, is that it's just tough to find a completely sourced American made product. It's
yeah.
just the way it's went down.
Yeah. So, and I look at a lot of different companies, not just saddle hunting companies, but you know any textile company that is American made in America. I've reached out to a lot of people. I'm like, hey, can you guys like help me out? Where can I find this certain sort of webbing? I've even reached out to Mystery Ranch. They've helped me out with a couple of different things.
Good for them.
Um, but sometimes, like even for instance, they a buckle that I might be interested in, like a plastic hardware buckle, I'll reach out to that company and be like, "Man, you claim to be 100% American made. This buckle is sweet. I've used it personally. Where did you get it from?" "Oh, it's from this company. They're made in Japan." And it's like, well, I can't do that because I
You got to stand by your morals. You
yeah,
want that 100% American made tag on your equipment.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's tough.
it's been a really rough road. And honestly, it's kind of like probably the dumbest business idea there is. If you really think about it, it's stupid.
Well, it's got to
And
be tough, but good for you for keeping the course and wanting to hold the line there. So
Yeah. So, um, eventually, like I said, I'm still learning day by day. I'm still, trying to network and contact people and stuff. And it seems like every month I'm learning something
mhm,
new when it comes to like fabric or uh, a different manufacturer. And that's one of the hardest things about this whole manufacturing industry is that a lot of these American manufacturers, they have no online presence.
yeah,
And so, for example, one of my materials that I use for all of my products, I reached out to Kafaru and was like, "Hey, I'm desperately needing this. Where do you guys get this?" "Oh, they're right here, blank and blank. Here's their email. Here's their phone." I called them up, super awesome, and I'm
that's
like,
great.
man, for an entire year, I've been trying to find somebody just like you guys. Why can't I find you guys? And they're like, "Oh, we don't have any website or anything. It's all word of mouth." And I'm like, well, it would have been nice to know, it would have been nice to know about you guys a year ago because this sucked trying to just
Sure,
find something.
man. And I guess that maybe they don't have a need for the advertising. They're just letting that word of mouth be their advertising, and it kind of sucks for guys like you that are seeking and searching this stuff out.
Yeah,
Until you stumble onto it, how are you supposed to know about it?
yeah,
Sometimes Google isn't the answer, I guess.
yeah, yeah. It's just you just got to be in contact with the right people.
Yeah, like you said, the key word is networking.
Yeah,
Once you've networked and started spiraling out from that nucleus, and you've got those contacts, I think it's just going to get better and better for you.
yeah,
I really do. I think once you've built that network, um, sky's the limit at some point.
yeah. And I beat myself up sometimes, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, I've only been doing this for like a year and some change. There's people that have been doing this for half a decade, a full decade,
Yeah,
and it's like uh, sometimes I have to, which I do, I sit back and reflect, and sometimes it's like for me and what I believe, it has to be earned. And maybe that's why maybe some of the saddle guys or whatever haven't reached out to me or anything, because I'm still new. There's always new players, in every industry and in the game. There's always going to be new people, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just gotta keep going at it and
yeah.
earn the respect and whatnot. So
Do you have any plans on maybe trying to attend any of the mobile shows or anything like that to try to get yourself some more exposure and actually start that networking process with those guys?
yeah, I plan
Good,
on
good.
going next year to the Mobile Hunter show. I forget exactly what they're called, but the Mobile Hunters. What are they
Mobile
called?
Hunter Expo.
Yeah, the Mobile Hunter Expo. Yeah, I
Yeah.
talked to the main guy. His name is Chris, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
super cool. I like him a lot. Um, he actually reached out to me and he invited me to go out there, but for being completely just
Self-sustaining.
yeah, it's hard. You know, this has all been bootstrapped. Not a single loan, not a single investor, not a credit card. This has all been pure cash out of
Wow.
pocket from just me, and I plan to keep it that way. But um, yeah, it's kind of not the easiest thing to do when you have
A
very
one-man
little.
show, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah,
And I know you and I have talked, and your dad does pitch in and help you with some of the sewing
hmm
and your girlfriend. So basically, 3 of you trying to, do all of this, and that's gotta be cumbersome to say the least.
yeah, it is, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and, uh, I don't know if you kept up with, our Facebook page much, but, Tony Sangelosi with Drawn Archery,
Uh-huh.
Tony's a great friend of mine, and I support him 100% in everything he's done. He just released the WIN device, the
Oh
WND
yeah,
device,
that thing's
and
awesome.
that thing is freaking phenomenal, but, as the build up, when he first started the idea of it and kind of doing some prototyping, he sent me some stuff to play with, and he was so just man, he was ready to drop this thing, then some shipping got hinked up on him, and, I had to talk him off a ledge a couple times, like, "Dude, it's gonna be fine," I was like, "You sowed the seeds. Once this thing drops, you're gonna reap the harvest," and I'm gonna say the same to you, man. You're sowing your seeds right now, you're pounding, you're grinding. Eventually, that harvest is gonna come in for you.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I wanted to get you on here, just so I can get, you out there, Bullpath out there, let folks know, about Bullpath, what you stand for, the products that you're manufacturing, and just get you some exposure. That's something us at the cartel we wanted to do is we don't want to be brand specific to anybody because we love it all, and the guys that we feel like need a little extra, help on getting some exposure, whatever. We want to get them, get their names out there so people know that these things are out there for them to purchase. And
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome what you're doing and the grinding and not borrowing money, not seeking investors, just paying for it all yourself. I mean, that's man, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, partly because of me not doing any credit cards or loans or anything, because I've never had a credit card in my life.
Oh, you're lucky.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, guess I could say I'm lucky, but growing up, I had just my dad, and seeing him, credit cards, and
Mhm.
him getting swallowed up in that, and him preaching to me like, "Do never ever take on any debt." I'm like, okay, so I never did. Um, I hear a lot of conflicting, stories about good debt, bad debt, whatever. But for me personally, I've
Mhm.
never, I don't want to do that. So
Sure.
it's all
Good for
been
you.
bootstrapped.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So cool. Yeah. Do you have a saddle you can show us so the folks watching and the folks that are going to watch can kind of get an idea of what you're offering out there?
I'm like I said, I'm completely sold out of the saddles.
Wow,
Saddles
that's
and
a good.
sand pouch. Yeah, they're all boxed up. You got to ship them out tonight, or not tonight, tomorrow morning. But
That's a good
I
problem to
do
have.
have, I do have on hand a product that we did release. I want to say probably like a month ago or so, and this is
Yeah.
called the Bull Pack. So basically, what it is, it's a zippable pouch, and the reason why I came up with this was, for one, I wanted to have a zip pouch that could, store a lot of rope in it, which it does, and then I wanted to have something that actually can be pretty universal with how you would want to use it. Also, another thing, one of my hunting packs that I have, it was super
Mhm.
annoying to not have any extra storage on the outside of the hunting pack. And I knew something like this I had to create in order to do that, to strap it up. And what I have implemented into this pack is 4 connection points on the
Okay,
back
I see them. Yeah, I see them there.
to where you could use gear ties or whatever, strap them against, underneath the tree stand. We have a lot of guys that do that for,
Mhm.
extra, like a little compartment for your tree stands.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen a guy even convert this into a chest rig.
Oh
His
wow.
name is, he runs an Instagram page called Mojack Outdoors. He's from Texas, and he converted this into a chest rig.
No kidding.
Uh, and also, you can obviously strap it up to your hunting saddle, which I do,
Yeah.
and I use that for one sticking. Also, another
That's
thing, I realized that a lot of the pouches on the market, they all are essentially the same, where it has the Cordura front pocket. Well,
mhm.
making this prototype, I had like, I think 12 different prototypes just trying to make this right here, 12 different versions, and every single one of them, I stuff a ton of rope in here just the way I wanted it for one sticking, but the front pocket was always inaccessible, and I'm like, man, I can't get anything down in there. I can't get my Petzl Gree or
Too
Mad
much
Rock.
pressure from the rope pushing
Yep.
out on it.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, why don't I take some stretchy material and sew it in to make it the front pocket to where it actually expands
Oh,
when you put stuff in there, so you're not cramming your hand or whatever in there.
I like
So
it.
yeah, that's what I came up with.
I love that, dude. And I'm sorry to tell folks that's sold out too.
Yeah. No, this is I have 2 left of these, but the sand pouches,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the
Yeah.
sand pouches and the saddles are, done. I actually was in the process of sewing up saddles right before this, but that's what
Cool.
I've been doing all day.
Yeah. So tell folks where they can find you at. What is the name of your website where they can actually go and review some of your products and look at the pictures and whatnot?
Okay, so my website is bullpathgear.com.
Bullpathgear.com.
I have an Instagram. I think it's Bullpath Gear. Facebook is just Bullpath, and then I have a TikTok. Just I think it's Bullpath Gear.
Okay.
So those are all my socials. I try to post, on all of them, which I do. But you can definitely see a lot of different pictures
Yeah.
and videos of all the stuff. And I actually have a lot of instructional videos on there on how I use it and how other people use our products.
Oh, that's great. So if folks was to go to your Facebook or Instagram or whatever, they can actually see the saddle in action and you
Yep.
talking your way through it, talking about some of the design features.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people will be interested just to see, what it looks like, how it works, how it's designed, what material is it made of.
Yep.
So cool. That's good that those things are going to be accessible to anybody that does find interest in it.
Yeah.
So here you are, Central Ohio guy, doing your very best to source all your material in America, completely American made, small operation, a guy that's grinding, just trying to get it done. Drew, I can't thank you enough, man, for just being innovative, being creative, for the grind you put into what you're doing. Like say you're just a little over a year into this.
Hmm.
I hope you have a tremendously large future in the hunting industry. I want to thank you for coming on the Cartel podcast and just opening up to us, telling us what you're about, what you stand for, and man, I can't thank you enough, and wish you all the best. But before we go, are you going to have some time to hunt this year?
Yeah. I mean, I've already put in a couple hunts already.
Okay, good.
I killed a doe. Um, Second day of opening, second day of the season.
Yeah,
Um, and the reason why I have to hunt, obviously I want to, but I have a new saddle that will be released next year, and I think it might be. I'm probably biased, but I think it might be the best saddle on the entire market. 100% American made,
well,
is extremely comfortable, very versatile. That's just my opinion, but
yeah.
it is absolutely
Hey,
killer.
you got to believe in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be interested to see that saddle when you finally drop it. What do you have kind of a time frame on when you plan on releasing that?
Yeah, I want to release it next year during a trade show. But before then, I'm going to be getting a patent on it because the way I designed it, nobody else has done it that way. And I don't want
Oh
anybody
wow,
taking that idea and, using it. So I have to,
100%, dude.
yeah. That's
I
why I
don't blame
haven't
you one
put,
bit.
yeah, that's why I haven't really shown anybody it except for my team
Yeah,
guys. And that's it.
don't do that, man. Yeah, keep that in house until it's time to drop the ball on
Yeah.
it. That's cool. Have you started applying for the patent stuff yet? Is that a big headache for you?
Um, I mean, other than the money part, no. I'm in contact with a lawyer. He told me that it'd be right around $2,000. Unfortunately,
Mm,
since the landscaping season is winding down, I don't have the money to
yeah,
put down 2 grand for a patent. But once landscaping season picks back up next year, I definitely will be getting that, and hopefully nobody will take my design. So
yeah. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen, and I hope that saddle blows up for you. But back to the hunting thing, you got any big bucks on camera? Anything worth chasing right now?
yeah, I have. I would say, it definitely would be my biggest buck ever. He's probably 120, 130 inch on public land.
Oh,
Um, this is my third year of actually like learning a lot about hunting.
yeah,
And this is actually like last year was my most successful year. This year, learning all the knowledge from last year's experience till now, I'm just getting better. at
Yeah.
doing it, and I definitely I have the buck that I've been chasing and patterning down, and hopefully I'll be able to kill him this year. So
I hope you do, and please, if you do, share that on the cartel page so we can
okay,
celebrate that with you.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can
appreciate
get you
that,
on
man.
get you back on the success series after that. You know, I don't
Yeah,
know if you've caught any of our success series stuff, but we did one with Joey Record out in Missouri the other day. And Joey killed a freaking mega out there, like a 166-inch
yeah,
13 pointer. It was a freaking phenomenal buck.
yeah. I saw that.
Uh, Cool, man. Well, Drew, I've had you on here for quite a while. I know you're busy. You got a lot of stuff to do. Thank you again for coming on. So taking some time and just letting people see who you are, letting them know what you're about. Great freaking story, dude. I mean, it's
Thanks.
just it's inspiring just to hear that, that American grit still exists. It is still out there. We've not lost that as, strong Americans.
Hmm.
My hat's off to you, man, and I wish you just the absolute best in the future. And let's stay in contact. I
Yeah,
definitely want to
absolutely.
get you back on when your new saddle drops. Get you back on. And let's talk all about that thing because it
Okay,
sounds like it's going to be a real winner.
absolutely. I
All right,
appreciate it,
Drew.
man.
Well, appreciate you, buddy. You have a good season. Stay safe. Stay careful, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll talk later.
All right, bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Don't forget, we're doing a giveaway right now. If you go to one of our previous videos dropped last week, we've got a great giveaway through Ape Canyon for you. All it takes is just a subscribe and comment done on the video. We want to build this channel up, so get in on that drawing. Cost you nothing. Other than that, thanks again for Drew. Looks like he jumped off for taking some time out with us tonight. Again, everybody, comparison is a thief of joy. Get out there, grind it out. Find those great emotions of hunting and just do your thing. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon. Good night.